Alright everyone, we start off today with the legendary Uniparty meltdown. I'm loving every fucking second of this. As a non-Republican, I can sit back and enjoy the chaos among the House GOP members, and I just don't fucking give a shit what happens as far as who runs the House position for Speaker. It doesn't matter unless you get someone principled in there, and the handful of holdouts that are trying to make that happen right now are facing, brick walling from Kevin McCarthy, who literally feels like he's owed that position, despite doing absolutely nothing to earn it other than literally attacking Republican House members during the primaries. You'll remember Madison Cawthorn. Does that ring a bell? Hey Kevin, if you hadn't thrown him under the bus, he came very close to being reelected. He'd still be there if it literally weren't for you. I'm sure that you're very happy about that. You're basically like a slightly more tolerable version of Mitch McConnell anyway, with very slightly more qualifications for the role that he's seeking, and he acts like he's been anointed by Jesus Christ himself to get this particular role. Link in the description, archived of course. Just to run up about the article, Kevin McCarthy has now fallen short on 6 successive ballots. Can we please say that the writing is on the wall, that there are no longer any but 2 possibilities? Kevin McCarthy inches his way in there, effectively goddamn cucked by the holdout Republicans, or ends up being a unity candidate, which would somehow be even cuckier, or he doesn't fucking make it. Why would the GOP, or McCarthy and the Unipartyists, even for partisan reasons, want a massively weakened House leader when they could just swap him out for someone else? Now you've got people that are holding out and simply voting present. By the way, they're putting forward Byrondonalds, who happens to be a black member of the Republican Party. Ooh, wow, special, right? He has now been put forward. After, on the first 2 ballots, he backed McCarthy. Then he started backing Jim Jordan, and now I guess he's standing for that position as a challenger as well. You could do worse. I like the response. The response from Dan Crenshaw. The second that the black dude was nominated, I notice. Dan Crenshaw comes out with his screed, "These 20 holdouts are basically terrorists." So yesterday they were just unpatriotic. How dare you not anoint the person that I myself happen to prefer on behalf of your constituents who don't fucking like Kevin McCarthy? How dare you literally do your job? Don't you know once you're reelected, you're not supposed to do that? You're supposed to talk a big MAGA game and then shut up, sit down, we'll give you some pork barrel handouts, we'll let you grift money in the Cayman Islands or China or whatever on skeevy book deals and investment and insider trading. What more do you fuckers want? You're not supposed to actually have any principles, says Dan Crenshaw. So now it's escalated from them being unpatriotic to them being absolutely terroristic. Quite literally saying that. It's funny, when Dan Crenshaw, Eye Patch McCain, is lecturing others on being terroristic in nature, you've flown the coop. Even funnier is when he's fundamentally agreeing with Joy Reid and Cori Bush. They're both coming out, now these are black far leftists, coming out and using terminology to describe Byrondonalds that there are certain words you can or cannot use if you're making a video and putting it on YouTube. Let's put it that way. I will be making a much sassier video specifically on what Cori Bush herself said later as a New Tech exclusive. Links down below, I'll pin them too. If you ain't following me on one of those 4 sites where I make an extra video every day, you're not getting half the goddamn snark. I can fit twice the snark in one video as 2 full-length videos that end up on YouTube. So enjoy and clank along. I'm McLovin' the fucking chaos here. I think it's great. Joy Reid says, well, Byrondonalds is just a prop. Cori Bush comes out. Effectively, again, there are terms that she would like to use that even she wouldn't dare to fucking post on the internet because she'd get banned. You can probably understand what I'm talking about here. The fact is this. Kevin McCarthy lacks the votes. It's not certain he's going to be able to get the votes. In order to get the votes, he has to cooperate with some of these other people. Hannity was having a shouting match with Lauren Boebert the other night, specifically on this topic. Well, what are you people doing? Don't you fuckers... And Fox, the controlled opposition network, by the way, revealing itself as part of that same Uniparty system. By the way, can I call them? I've been doing it for more than 10 years now, so give me a little fucking credit where credit's due. With the exception of Tucker Carlson's more coherent moments, you got Sean Hannity now berating her over the situation. What the hell are you doing? You need a Speaker of the House in order to form committees. Just point out to him, what's the use of forming a committee to investigate Twittergate or something like that if Kevin McCarthy is not going to pledge to do it properly or lose his seat if he doesn't? That's the only concession that they're asking for at this point. He agreed to their other concessions. Sign a paper saying, yes, in the official House rules, you can kick me out if I don't do what you want me to do. What your constituents have literally voted you into those positions to make sure was done. At this point, Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert and some of these others who are holding out, if they were to suddenly switch and say, okay, we've raised enough of a ruckus, we got our pork barrel kickbacks, and then vote for Kevin McCarthy, they would probably lose their jobs. You see, there's no impetus for them to do otherwise. It's sort of like the Occupy Dems, the Justice Dems, the Geek Squad over on the other side in the House. They are from far blue districts that they gained by primarying out neoliberals primarily. The neolibs did what McCarthy and Crenshaw, etc. want their own House members to do. It's the Uniparty, stupid. They want them to vote straight partisan, working with the other party only insofar as they can screw the American people. This is exactly what we need to seek to avoid. It's sad that there are only 20 holdouts, to tell the truth. There should be twice as many. Where's Marjorie Taylor Greene at this point? I noticed that she seems to be more and more like a Dan Crenshaw every day, which is really sad. Again, it talks a big game, but then she gets in there and she effectively stops bothering to fight. And to all of the partisans out there, they're like, well, yeah, but the Democrats might get Hakeem Jeffries as the House Speaker, which I do not think is very likely to happen. It's more likely the Dems will cross lines and put McCarthy over the edge than anything else at this point, I suppose. Who cares? Again, as a non-Republican outside looking in at the partisan core structure here, if you have a weak House leader who has not pledged to do their job and cannot get pulled out effectively unless you can get a bunch of Democrats to want to get rid of him along with the MAGA Republicans, in which case you would end up with the Democratic Speaker of the House, I believe. Now, what's the point? You've got to investigate the FBI violating the First and Fourth Amendments, the onerous and arguably illegal detention of J6 defendants, investigate the J6 committee, arguably. You certainly have to look at Hunter's laptop. There is a large docket of things that you need to do. You've got McCarthy effectively pledging, well, we're not going to just impeach Joe Biden on a whim, which is a terrible idea because it's not just on a whim. There are actually things that are impeachable that he's done over the last couple of years. They're softballing it for the Uniparty. It's all a goddamn setup ahead of the 24 election. Can't people fucking see what's happening here? Why do you think they rubber-stamped Mitch McConnell after he literally helped to defeat a half a dozen Senate candidates from his own party? Throwing them under the bus, ignoring them, outright attacking them on several occasions, running $9 million in hits against Shabaka in a race in Alaska that they structurally the party couldn't lose. It's impossible. They were both Republicans. This is what's wrong with our government right now. We have people who are part of this enmeshed, sludgy, sleazebag filth called the Uniparty. It goes beyond government. It's the majority of Democrats, a significant plurality of Republicans, and between the two, unfortunately, they do have a majority within government, if not the population. The legacy media, elements of the academic complex, certainly the military-industrial and intel complex, even auxiliaries on foreign shores. This is effectively, it's the microcosmic component of globalism that you're seeing right now. That's why there is dysfunction, because people are finally fighting back against it. And they don't like it because it loses them money. It loses them money. They want to expand their power over the world and institute soft slavery over everyone in the name of progress. In the name of fighting shadows, illusions like climate change and things like that. And the way that they'll tell you to fight them always benefits them, you'll notice. They don't have to give up their private jet or their shorefront mansion that supposedly will be below sea level in a couple of years. They're not going to do that. You will be eating bugs. You will learn to live with less. You will own nothing and like it, etc., etc. They're telling you their long-term goals on a regular basis at this point. They've pulled back the curtains and they've shown you the blank black of the theater. It's about time that more people get involved with rebuffing them in their attempts. This is just a microcosm of that much larger problem, and it's wonderful to see the black leftoid activists say, well, Byrondonalds doesn't count. That wouldn't actually be historical to have a black Speaker of the House because he doesn't have the right ideological views. And Crenshaw there agreeing with him, bobbing his head like a fucking bobblehead unipartyist he is. Oh, they're terrorists. Oh my god, they're not voting the way that I wish that they would vote. In favor of someone who's going to screw the pooch anyway and make us look cucked and weak and pathetic. Cucked, weak, and pathetic describes Dan Crenshaw better than almost anyone. That's about all. Peace out.